Okay, here's a video on how to replace the Grand Marquis front bumper cover. As you can see, I've already started on it. One thing you do have to do is you got to remove the headlamps and parking lamps. In order to get the headlamps out, the parking lamps do have to come out first. Let's see. This is the driver's side. You got two nuts right there, and then the parking lamp comes right off. On the headlamp, you got three tabs right here, so you got 3 bolts on there and 2 on each side there. Slides out of there like that, and then you just unplug the plug from right there, and it slides right out right after you take the parking lamp out. This is one of the bolts that you have to take off to get the bumper cover off. Then you just push down on this and you pull back on that tab, pull that tab out, and there's about 4 tabs on top of the bumper there. Let's see. And to get down inside in there, get a light here. Okay. There's where your parking lamp bolts are going to be coming out of in the fenders, those 2 holes right there. And then your headlamp bolts, one there, one down there, one down there, and then you got your plug connection right here. Just pushing the tab and pull the 2 apart. Once you've done that, and the parking lamp's off, same thing for both sides. Make sure you pull this out over here to clear the grill. I'll just play with it a little bit. You may have to push down the bumper cover just a bit to get it out. Like this right here, that's why it's got the little hole in the top there. So those headlamps can stick down inside. There's this hole right here, so you got to kind of push down on it a bit. Oh, one other thing you got to take off is the top air deflector, or the air cover for the radiator. That has got to come off. It's got 3 of these little push-in fasteners. Just take it, go like this and just go back and forth. You don't want to try to put too much force because you'll break them, and then you'll end up having to replace them. I mean, they're cheap, but if you don't feel like buying new ones, that's how you get it off without breaking them. Pulling off all the little tabs on it, and that way you'll be able to reveal this, because you'll have to take that off in order to get to the headlamps and the parking lamps. There's the ones there, one there, and the one there, corresponding with this here and there. Anyway, so once you got that off, you can get the bolts and nuts off for the parking lamps and headlamps, and then just continue to play with this just a little bit. Like I said, you got to push this down here to allow for the headlamp to clear. And mine is stuck. There we go. There we go. And then push down on this. Boom. Headlamp is out. Okay. Once you get the headlamps and parking lamps out, then again, here's another tab right here. Just push down and pull out when you're ready. And once again, there's another bolt right here, and that takes care of that part. Then the other part you got to do, you got to take off this right here. it should come off with the bumper. But anyway, you take that off there and you'll have to transfer that onto the new bumper. And yeah, you see where I whacked it with my truck. Anyway, now this is the lower license plate bracket, and usually new bumpers, if they don't come with any of that stuff, you'd have to transfer this over to it as well. And that's one of the holes where the top license plate screw goes into. So you have to transfer all that stuff over. Or what I'm going to do is just keep it off. I'll include it with the car if I ever sell it, but I won't bother putting it on because it looks a lot better without this. Being in Arkansas, we don't need a front plate unless you feel like putting something stylish on there or whatever. But anyway, then the chrome trim, you'll have to get new chrome trim from Ford. I found it actually cheaper to just buy it online from Ford than to try to find it off of eBay or whatever. The trim ends, there's holes on each end. There's a hole here and a hole right back in here. The trim just slides in place once you've taken the adhesive off. Make sure you take a damp rag and wipe down the new bumper area before you put it on, and then just peel the adhesive strips off. There'll be two of them, two adhesive strips on the backing, and just slap it on. Slide this in there, slide that in there, and just press it on like this all the way along until you get to the end. That way it's completely even, and there's no bubbles or no unevenness. So and then you got those two screws there. So let's see here. You got two screws on the other side too. Then you got to transfer these. Transfer these little plates there to the new bumper. Anyway, these little things, they just snap right off and snap on the new bumper. Pretty simple. Let's see. Anything else under here? Oh yeah, you got one of those little snaps under here too. You got one of those snaps right there. Got it in the same thing on both sides. Let's see here. As you can see, mine's kind of dangling. Well, it's not going to kill it. But anyway. Now, for some reason, someone said you're supposed to take the air dam or deflector, whatever you want to call it, off of underneath the radiator. I find that to be a bunch of BS. You don't need to do that. Unless you want to take this off with it too, then, I mean, if you just unbolt it right here, if you just unbolt these here, this thing will come off, and then snap that off too, and you can put it on the bumper when you get the bumper installed. But if you want to take this whole thing off, with the bumper, then yeah, you'll have to take off the air dam. So it just depends what you want to do. That's totally up to you. But anyway, and all right, well. We'll get the bumper off and show you what it looks like once it's off. Alright. Alrighty, well, I got all the fasteners out. The bolts, the little plastic keepers, I can't think of what they're called right now. Anyway. Took the three out here on each side. There's also, I forgot to mention, there's a little screw right here. It hooks up right in there. It's on both sides of the bumper. I'll just show you the other side for the heck of it. Same thing on both sides. make sure you take those two screws off too, otherwise you're not getting it off. And same thing this side. The 3 holes where the bolts or the little plastic snaps used to be, and then this, when we get the bumper off, will snap off and transfer onto the new one. And then here's part of the air dam down there. You should have 6 of these and 2 of these, and at least 4 bolts on each side. So those 4 bolts, 2 on each side, bolts into these holes here, and then that shorter push-in, plastic push-in, goes through this hole here. Same thing on both sides. So, okay, bumper is now ready to pull. Like I said, just push in that snap, pull that off there. Push in that little snap here. This one's being a pain. There we go. Alrighty. Here's the bumper, ready to pull right off. Boom. Just like that. And there you go. Bumper cover is now off. Here's your plastic shock absorbers. And make sure you tie up the parking lamp harness. You can unplug it right down in there. There's a plug for it right there. And unplugs right here. You can do that, or you can just put this the side lamp up here like that, and just tuck the parking lamp down in there like that, and it's out of the way for both uninstalling and installing a new bumper. And well, there you go. Old bumper removed, and these little plastic plates here, like I said before, they just unsnap and unscrew with one little screw there. They come off, transfer those to the new bumper. These brackets here, if yours didn't usually come with new ones, but if yours did not come with new ones, you'll have to transfer these as well. These L brackets here, and you'll transfer this, the rubber sides here, on both sides of the bumper, the new one as well. And once you've done that, slap it back in position, bolt everything back up, and take your car for a drive, because you're done. So, oh, and the license plate bracket, it's a bit of a pain. These things here, let's see. I don't usually play with these things, but they look like they're some kind of rivets. Unless your state absolutely requires it, I wouldn't mess with it. It's just more pain than it's worth, really. So, I mean, heck, I think it should be cheap enough. You should be able to just get a new one, for crying out loud. Just slap a new one on there. Yeah, it's definitely riveted on. You'd have to get the new rivets for it. So, but yeah. It looks like my screw is gone. Oh well. Alrighty, that is how you remove the Grand Marquis bumper cover. And just reverse install everything and the way you took it off. And there's the chrome trim here. See how it slides in like that. Just peel off the 2 backing strips off of that. Slide it in place. and then start pressing it on after wiping it with a wet rag, and you're good to go. So, alrighty, well, bumper is installed with the new chrome trim. Looks really darn good. You'd never tell I backed into the center of that right there. Now, earlier when I mentioned about the radiator bolts for the air dam, or the air dam bolts I meant, I was thinking something else. No, you do have to remove them. It's these right here. I was thinking of the ones over here underneath the radiator. No, these are the ones you got to remove, but it kind of turned me a bit because this one's actually missing 2 out of the 6. There's supposed to be another one right here, but there's only 2 on each side. So, yes, you do have to remove those 6 bolts. So, anyway, and the plastic push-in bolts, if you take them off gently, you can put them back in and look as if like you never took them off. So, and I forgot to mention there are little clips about that long, that big. There's 3 of them. One up here, one about here, and one down here to hold this rubber piece on. That's on each side. So you gotta just take a pair of needle-nose pliers, squeeze it down a little bit, pop. They all pop right off. So, and as for the chrome trim, when you go to put it on, start with this side first. When you stuff into this end of the bumper first, don't keep going. Stop when it stops, because if you push it any farther, this will drop down a bit because it gets pushed against the bumper, and then it won't look it right. So, and then work your way along like this, and get that end in first, and then push this end in over here, and then start working your way down around like that, and boom, you got it in, and then just start pressing on it to make sure it's nice and tight on there. So, and here's the bottom license plate bracket. They were rivets. They're a weird type of rivet, but they did use rivets. So just if you want to take the old one off, you just have to cut off different pieces. So, well, alrighty, that's all.